This is Cape Town, with its world-famous mountain ever present and comforting. Its upmarket homes and pristine wetlands lie idyllically along the Milnerton coast. But just minutes away is Joe Slovo informal settlement, where life couldn't be more different. Joe Slovo Park is a settlement with a mix of formal houses in and amongst a shackland of informal makeshift homes. And within it is Mshiniwam, where Nokwezi Klaas lives. She's a mother, wife and community leader who has led a bold initiative to upgrade life beyond the haphazard, fire-risk mix of zinc and wooden shacks. Nokwezi headed up a reblocking project which has transformed the layout and spirit of her community into something much more livable and dignified.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks yourself. Come inside.
Why is it called Mshiniwam?
Because the city was trying to chase us away, and then we decided, no, we're not going anywhere. This is our place, so this is our mission.
It's your machine?
Yeah. It's, you know, machine, it's something that you do things with. It was very dense here. You couldn't even move, especially at night. You would fear for your life because the shacks were mixed mesh, so you couldn't say who did what to me.
Like countless South Africans, Nokwezi left her rural home for the big city in search of a better future. Instead, she was confronted with a lack of affordable housing and basic services. With no other choice, she constructed a home out of makeshift materials. This was not the life she had hoped for.
People were starting to move here. I think it was 10, 12 shacks here. So I also joined them. It was not a happy environment because it was dirty here, because it used to be a dumping area. When you want to put your shack, you just move the rubble out of your way, you put your shack, you leave it there. And there was water all over, the green, dirty water. It was a stinky place. The fire was always in my mind. My next doors used to cook and then leave the pot on. And then sometimes they drinking or they out. The walkie that was in front of me, it bent 3 times. It was terrible. So I was worried of the kids because they were here at that time. They were not happy at all, I must say it. They used to call it a walkie. In my township where I came from, a walkie is a dog's house. To be honest, I was ashamed. I grew up in a brick house, then I moved to Cape Town. Not expecting myself ended up staying in a shack.
So you moved from a brick house to an informal settlement. That must have been a huge change for you.
I used to use that flush toilet, and I used to have power. Now I had to buy a paraffin stove, and there's no toilet.
Mshiniwam mushroomed from 12 to 250 shacks with no formal planning or services. The conditions became unbearable for Nokwezi and her neighbors.
They used to call us to march to the city, and then when we get there, security just closed the gate, and then we stand and shout outside the gate.
What would you shout?
We want electricity, we want a councillor, so-and-so to come out. And that wasn't helping.
And then something happened that changed the course of your life.
Guys from ISN approached us. They visited our settlement.
What the Informal Settlement Network, or ISN, proposed was to reblock and rebuild the shacks at Mshiniwam, using an innovative community-led urban planning strategy which would make the settlement more livable.
We are the one who create this initiative and then the community buy in the reblocking. And when we started by organizing all the informal settlement to come and discuss their issues.
With Nokwezi and her team leading the process, community members at Mshini-Wam mapped out the new look of the settlement. The city recognized their commitment and came on board to deliver basic services.
As the settlements are too dense for us to put in services, we rely on communities to make spaces because these places are not planned, so they are very informal and they do not make allowance for pipes to come in, for toilets to be installed and so on.
The reblocking project is a partnership between the community, the city and NGOs such as the Community Organisation Resource Centre, the Informal Settlement Network and Ikayalami.
Housing is still a vital component and role of the city. It's not saying do away with the housing subsidy system. On the contrary, it's saying while people wait endlessly for that housing opportunity, let people actually do something themselves to improve their environments, create a dignified neighborhood. The rearrangement of space can actually transform people's lives, people's living conditions.
But nothing happens without a leader. Nokwezi was asked and accepted the enormous challenge of leading her community into a brand new life. It was a huge leap of faith, with many complexities which she faced head-on.
Nobody wanted to stand up because it was involving having all these negotiations with the city people. Nobody wants to be a community leader. But then at the end of the day, you must do something. The thing is, I couldn't live like what I used to live like. I didn't get to accept it.
She said, no, I buy in the idea and I will make sure that our community are behind this. And then she did indeed. And then as you can see, the blocking out is happening here.
Because I heard that there are ways and chances of getting a better life. So that's where I get courage. I ended up being the one who's explaining the whole thing to everybody.
At Mshini-Wam in Cape Town, a unique community-led reblocking initiative has resulted in 250 shacks being torn down and replaced with new fireproofed homes, reconfigured into a more dignified living space. Every man and woman has had to pitch in to recreate the living space they call home, allowing access for emergency services to enter and creating a more communal, secure environment. The process has been driven by community leaders like Nokwezi Klaas and her team.
First, it was the counting of all the people, taking the details of who lives there and all of that. We mapped the whole area as it was, and then the structures, they were rearranged to form a sort of sense so that we can have a road here, we can have a space here.
The residents of Mshini-Wam had asked the City of Cape Town numerous times to provide them with basic services, but they were told this could not be done because the settlement was too densely packed. Blocking out or reconfiguring the layout of the settlement meant that Mshini-Wam became a more workable community with demarcated pathways, roads and communal spaces.
We took the layout to the city where it was passed, and then it was taken back to the community to let the community see how it would look like.
Why was this a leap of faith for you?
Because I've never been in this situation of trying to change the whole community. People that I don't know, I would feel like I'm pushing everybody because I was now on and on about this. We must have a meeting, we must call the people.
This is such a positive project. Why would people be resistant?
people are expecting free services from the government. Now we suddenly tell them that they must pay.
Nokwezi and her team were asking people to tear down the only home that they had, a shelter they'd already spent money on. And they were being asked to contribute up to 1,000 rand for an upgraded shack. Not everyone jumped at the chance. Some didn't have enough to eat, let alone join a savings scheme.
There was a time where people would come and ask for their savings money back.
What Nokwezi needs to do on a daily basis is ensure that the contribution that is required, ensure that that money is actually collected from the people, deposited in the bank, because no delivery of the material for the shelter upgrade will be processed unless that's happening.
So you act as the go-between between the plan and the community?
Yes.
Look here, tomorrow we're coming, so be ready.
Yes.
What was
that?
this?
That was the note we normally put when it's demolishing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we come here, nobody, then we write that they know. That's part of my job. Visit the people that must be demolished. We tell you in advance, 2 days, you must go sleep on the floor, on somebody's shack. It's not nice. I hate it myself to move up and down your stuff. Sometimes it breaks. Those complaints come, and then I must try and calm them down.
People feel very insecure. It's a natural thing. Nokwezi has to deal with people's insecurity, frustrations, anxiety, and anger some of the time. It's a very brave thing that she's done.
How did you feel when your shack came down, even though you wanted it?
I was sleeping in the water. You would not believe.
What happened?
Because it was heavily raining and I used someone's shack down the road, water was still getting into that shack.
Yeah.
So we used to put planks and we walk on planks to go to bed because of the water. It was a week because it was heavily raining. They couldn't finish all the work. You know what is happening here? We first clean the surface where we're going to put up structures.
Yeah.
And then we put sand. And then we use the compactor to compact it. You cannot just put up a structure on a dirty surface.
Yeah.
You must dig. You should have seen before there was a big hole here that was full of dirt. So we have to dig it out.
If you go and you just look at the visual aspects of a blocking out, where you see nice courtyards and people taking care and pride of their environment, it all looks simple. But underneath that, it is a highly kind of emotive and explosive scenario, because you have some people that are not on board. And you have other people that create all sorts of false rumors.
There were many times when Nokwezi wanted to give up on the reblocking project, but the promise of a better life for herself and her family kept her focused.
I always think of the ways how to make them believe and see the way it is. It's little knowledge and it's killing. Always I try to calm myself down and try to explain. I cry a lot, but nobody would see me. And when I finish crying, I write. All of that stuff that was hurting me or biting me inside.
You need people who have incredible resilience, incredible ability to stay focused and calm and to have the strength to push through. And those are the qualities that Nokwezi has brought to the surface. And including with her entire leadership team, they have really pushed through the barriers.
What is this material?
It's IPR, fire resisting. And when it's hot, it's amazing because it's cooler inside the shack.
It insulates?
Yes, it insulates.
So what's happening now? Where are we in the process?
They're making the sides. These are the sides for 10 square meters. We get this material in loose. They put the stuff together according to the size.
They're employed by the project, by the city?
Yes, and they're from the settlement. No one outside of our settlement.
You see a team of 35 people working in the settlement, and it just also generates a whole new energy where people actually feel even more proud of what they're doing.
Started with this cluster we call cluster 1, and then everybody now, after we started, they said we want the blocking out, we want the blocking out. And then to go to cluster 10, all the community was all behind the blocking out.
Cape Town is a city of contrasts. Extreme wealth for some, but for many a daily struggle for basic services and decent homes. Nokwezi Klaas is a woman of faith who believes change is possible. When she was asked to convince her community to upgrade their shacks and change the layout of their settlement, she bravely accepted.
I believe in God and ancestors. When I go to church, I always say it in my prayers. Please, God, help me say the right things, or let the people hear me in the right way. Let the people understand and see why. I have a dream about Mshinwam now, to one day stay in a brick house from this settlement, having all the services. We left now with 14 structures for the reblocking, and the sanitation is online. Even if they fight with me, when I look at the structures and everything, I feel great inside, because I feel that I did it.
Nobody knew where we're going with reblocking. It was more of a trial and error, and ultimately we got it right in Mshinwam. Through the support of the NGO and ISN and the leaders like Nokwezi, we were able to restructure the settlement. They didn't fold their hands and wait for the government to come and assist them. They actually took the initiative, opened up spaces, rearranged their settlement so that those services can come in. Now we're able to put in water taps in and around the settlement, more toilets and so on.
Would this have happened without Nokwezi? What would the Mshinwam blocking out have been like?
To be honest, we won't be blocking out this community. Today we will not talking about Mshinwam anymore. She invests a lot of time to do this. If she was not a part of this, I don't know where Mshinwam will be.
It's not only Mshinwam that has been transformed. Nokwezi Klaas, an ordinary woman, a mother and a wife, has found her voice and is speaking out on behalf of her community.
To me, she's the person who articulates very well in a community meeting, and then you put her in a boardroom. She's equally competent to actually articulate the needs of the community on their behalf. And I think she's really a role model.
The experience Nokwezi has gained through the blocking out process at Mchiniwam will now also benefit other communities with similar challenges.
After her community understand, we took her to Shukushukuma and then Kuku Town, where they are also keen to do the blocking out.
Nokwezi's journey as an activist has not been without its problems. But the endless meetings, red tape and hours of discussion with community members and the city have finally paid off. Mchiniwam is now a better home for all.
Where's this? We were in council chambers in Cape Town.
Why were you there?
There was a 5-city seminar where we were telling them our story about reblocking.
What Mchiniwam represents is a real breakthrough. It's actually demonstrated to the state and to other poor communities that this is possible, and that it's possible for poor communities to lead their development processes. And in future, this is how things should unfold. The amazing thing also about Mchiniwam is that Nokwezi, who is a woman, is in the forefront.
The blocking out at Mchiniwam is almost complete and challenges still remain. Yet through this process, Nokwezi Klaas has found her voice, unique strength, and a brand new beginning.
I have a strong heart, I think. I always tell them, this is my life, so I can't quit. Mchiniwam is like my baby.